Welcome back to the Fantasy Football TokeNCast. I'm your host, Tuna, filling in for Travis. He's gone to Louisiana to visit his father. I'm joined by my co-host, Ritchy.
What up? Welcome back. Thanks for joining us again. Even though it'll be just the two of us today, we're still going to talk about what happened this past week and week 5, as well as maybe look into the future a bit for week 6 and make a few predictions. But we'll just have some fun with it, talk some shit, see what went down, and check out if there are any big happenings in the league this week. So what do we want to do first? We want to talk about some matchups in week 5 because it was pretty damn crazy. We had a lot of close games. Most of them were pretty crazy, pretty close.
There's a lot of sad people out there.
It's rough out there.
So is Ricky.
Yeah, it's a kind of a depressing times in the episode. But which one do you want to start with?
You were talking about shifting focus. It's like,
oh yeah, you do. Yeah, earlier before the show we were talking about shit. Well, I mean you have to because here we are approaching week 6, right? So it's a significant amount of the season gone by, and you really do have to kind of reassess, do what you can do. But the reality is you got to shift your focus because in our league I was talking about playoff structure, and I was talking to this guy, or I was reading about this guy's his league structure in this Reddit post a while back. In his league, it was a 12 team just like ours, but his league had 8 teams get into playoffs. so his logic was that like the bottom 4 teams don't get a chance at playoffs, but everybody else gets a run or whatever. And so it's just so drastically different because I feel like the average is normally like 6 teams gets in, half the league gets in or whatever, which I still think kind of is like, I don't know, half the league is in the playoffs or whatever. But it does give everybody a chance to compete, right? Because in ours,
the gauntlet.
In ours, it's only 4. If you're not one of the best teams, right? If you haven't proven it over the regular season, it gives more weight to it. I like that because it means that you're worthy. You made it. Your team's the shit. Because if you're one of those meh teams, you ain't gonna get a shot at the chip, right? Yeah. So you got to be the shit. So I don't know. I like that actually, but it's tough because you do have to reassess. If you're not one of those top 4 to 6 teams that are going to be in the running for that, you do have to kind of shift your focus and be like, okay, in our league at least we do have a nice friendly payout structure where you can at least get your money back. You can at least get something in return, and you're not going for broke, right? Because if that's the new goal, then you still want to hit that, right? And that's what I like is that you just still have something to play for, right? The league doesn't die week 6, 7, 8.
My goal every year is to make playoffs. It's not to win. Every year.
Oh, you got to start with the playoffs goal. That's the only goal.
I have a really high percentage of making playoffs, and that's like the thing I'm proud of. It's not even the titles, because I got my titles when we were a 10 team, and it was easy to win. I don't even care. I'm just glad that I'm in the running like almost every year. Yeah,
it's the hardest thing to do.
But it's hard to do that when you're 0-5. It's hard to even be in there.
I never knew what that was
There's
like.
There's 2 other teams that are pretty close to your situation. Chris and Miranda are, ironically enough, are both 1-4. What are you guys sharing secrets?
I mean, if you
stop.
It's just a brutal reality of fantasy. It's as try as hard as you might, sometimes just the shit hits the fan, and you get a lot of big games up against you, and those points matter because it's hard to overcome that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
You got a lot of points against you. I will look at it later, but I think it's substantial.
I mean, it is substantial, but there's somebody in the league that pretty much is in that situation every year, and it's shitty every year for that person. I've been fortunate, I guess, in the past where that hasn't been the case, but it's pretty rough right now. But also, I have made a couple poor draft picks, so there's accountability there too.
Yeah, I've lost the last 3 weeks in a row, and it's all because of my
3 weeks in a row.
My bench making the wrong decision, and
it's not
even like
what's the flex play?
They say in the other podcast you listen to, and it's like, well, you wouldn't start him even if and you tell yourself like, I wouldn't have started him no matter what. But a lot of them were decisions where I was on a teeter-totter and I just made the wrong decision.
A gut play, or you're deciding to go with what you've read and what your brain think might be the case because of this logic, but also you have a gut feeling where I really want to play this matchup or this play. Yeah.
I've even had a week where my bench wildly outscored my actual starting lineup, and my bench would have won the week for me.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just if I started the
people
like 4
only players
on my bench
that were going huge. Because I mean, you want to see that in a way, right? It's good to have a good bench players because that's either trade value.
But after 3 weeks in a row, you're like, I am making the wrong
of course.
fucking decision.
You need to be winning the weeks, otherwise it's just painful. Because you're
So
almost like
painful.
stabbing yourself. Like you have the players, but it's the You pick the odd
It
one,
really
right?
feels like it's all falling apart, but I'm trying to stay
three weeks
positive.
in a row. Yeah, you got to stay positive. Hey, you got 2 wins under your belt, so even though you've lost 3 in a row, if you can get one this week, you'll be all right. Well, let's talk about what happened in Week 5 in your matchup. What is this?
This is I played Brian.
Brian, a close one.
Yeah, it was. We both kind of threw up some shit weeks, and it really came for like everyone pretty much did what they were supposed to do for both teams.
This was a shit
week.
week.
It was just.
I would have crushed you both.
Everyone just underperformed. It was just like everyone got like 2 or 3 points less than they should.
Yeah,
and
your
it
kicker
equals
got
up to. But my kicker lost me the week. Robbie Gold missed the only fucking opportunity he had.
You could have used that point. You could have used that point.
I think he got an extra point. Or maybe 2 extra points, and then he missed a field goal, and it was just like down to -1, and he lost me my week.
Yeah, Brian's happy about that win.
And it's my fault for dropping Adam Vinatieri, Mr. fucking the best kicker to ever play in the sport of football. Pretty soon, I mean, after he crushes the rest of the records.
Guy's got like 5 Super Bowl rings.
So I went ahead and picked him back up this week. So I righted the fancy gods. You know, Robbie Gold's trash, and that bald fuck is just. Kicked him right off my goddamn team.
Yeah, -1 from the kicker. That's painful. Painful, especially because you look over at Mr. Bryan and his kicker situation, and he went with the Dallas kicker. You got kicked by a Cowboy. You lost the game because of the Cowboy kicker.
Look at this bald fuck.
Yeah, Robbie Gould. Yeah,
Robbie Gould has the most perfectly bald, round head with this face that I want to.
What did the Dallas kicker? What did Brian's kicker get?
What does he look like?
What did he
looks like the most American kid.
He looks like the most American guy you've
American
ever seen.
Slice of pie.
Yeah, that guy is straight out of Iowa from the cornfields.
Yeah. Huskers.
He got 12 points though, and last week he got 15 points. So the Cowboys kicker is following Dan Bailey's footsteps.
I feel like Brian studies these. He goes out on the like. Pee-wee fields and watches kids play, and he's like,
"What is a pee-wee field?"
The pee-wee football fields.
Oh yeah, okay, I got you.
And he watches these kids play from the start up.
He takes elementary school notes on their.
He skips college. He doesn't watch them in college.
No, you can't take notes on elementary school kids. It's frowned upon.
I really just think he's a Reddit god. Y'all both are. You and him both. Just like read everything that says football on Reddit.
It is that's
he always accurate. Knows what college players are good, but I don't think he actually watches that much college football. I just think he reads stats and reads Reddit, whatever. Yeah. He beat me by 2 points.
It was a sad. Yep.
He's probably super stoked.
He's probably stoked about that win because it was a shit week for him too.
Yeah. Whenever you can pull out a win.
I mean, Melvin Gordon did Melvin Gordon things, but he had to start Amari Cooper, and that didn't go well for him. Alshon didn't do shit. The Jags D, even the Jags D were down to 2 points the Chiefs.
And it came down to Monday Night Football, which is like scary as fuck. I hate whenever both players have a viable option on Monday night.
Yeah, I was in the same boat.
I was like 7 points behind. I needed Chris Thompson to get about 9 or 10 points, and I needed Jordan Reed to get 0, and Jordan Reed got 2.5 points, and it got him just enough to stay just ahead of me. The whole game, he just stayed just ahead of me, and it was just maddening. Fuck you, Brian.
Tough week.
You're a piece of shit.
2-3. You're both at 2-3, right?
Yep. Looks like it. I'll see you again, my friend. All right. Next match.
Next matchup. What do we got? What do we got here?
Versus Ricky.
Speaking of crippling depression.
Well, yeah. This is really bad. Is the first, less than 1 point. Less than 1/2 of 1 point.
I've never lost by 0.1 before.
0.1 points. Like
I've never
if
lost
you had that. If you had.
That's a new one.
I'm trying to equate this to driving drunk, but you figure it out.
I don't know where you're going with that.
It's like you can drive drunk on how close this fucking was. This isn't even a whole beer worth of difference between these two.
No, it came down to my kicker, Will Lutz, was the last hope. And Will Lutz, he's had a few weeks of double-digit points in a row, right? Been a solid kicker in the dome at home. But the problem was he missed an extra point early in the game. And it turns out that 1 point...
he's rank 3 kicker.
Yeah, no, he's a great kicker. 15 points, 16 points. That's normal for him. But
rank 2, Ryan Suckup.
Yeah, Ryan Suckup's having
that boy's having a year.
Keith's kicker was put up 16 points. That's a solid day for him. It was a good day by both of us. Let's just be real here. We both put up 122 points. That's a solid day, respectable. But it didn't matter if
I wonder how many combinations of your bench player would have won the match for you. I do that. It's a poor practice.
Well, no,
but I do that every week, and it makes me so sad.
Well, ultimately, for me, it was Russell Wilson, Andy Dalton situation. I played Andy Dalton over Russell Wilson because Andy Dalton is coming off some really big games recently. He's been doing well, and he was at home. But Andy Dalton had a down day, 12.9 points, and then Russell Wilson, who got 9 points the previous week, so I benched his ass. But, so this was a tough loss. The first time I've lost by a tenth of a point or whatever. So tough. Good game, Keith. It was
Keith's sneaking up on y'all.
Keith's 4-1 now. Look at that, 4 in a row, 4 weeks in a row.
If I'm gonna continue to lose and be a spectator and like these other fucking losers on this podcast, then I'm just gonna hope that Keith pulls ahead of Leslie and fucking Homer, and they crash and burn. Because Keith has been sneaking up. Like, he's not even been in the conversation that much. He's 4-1 now.
And that's without Le'Veon.
And he doesn't have Todd Gurley. He doesn't have Kamara. He doesn't have these people that if you go and look at any fantasy league out there in 2018, the teams that have Kamara and the teams that have Todd Gurley are fucking winning. Sorry, you just picked good on the draft.
That's a great draft. I mean, I'd be happy to have either one of those guys.
This is me being as spiteful and hateful as I possibly can.
I'll say is that on Keith's team, if you look at where James Conner's done this season, even with Le'Veon, being out of the situation, James Conner's been a fucking fantasy baller because the Steelers feed his ass. So
what did he get? What has he been getting? He's been 31, 17, 12, 7, 32.
Yeah, he's the fifth best running back currently.
That's super dope.
The fifth best fantasy runner. So you're happy with that, right? Even though you're sad about.
What did he draft in at? I wish there was a quick way we could look at that.
What?
Oh yeah, right here.
I mean, he was picked up. He was picked up at the. I don't think he was drafted.
Yeah, he was added on waivers.
Keith paid for him. I remember
in August. But then he was dropped, and then he was added. Keith
he had to pay for him. He dropped him.
He picked him up for $0, then dropped him, then paid for him.
Yeah, I remember. But hey, that's the best $6 ever because that's the fifth best running back in fantasy.
Yeah,
right now.
It was a 3 or 4 day span.
And if Le'Veon, think about this, if Le'Veon gets traded to wherever or something, I mean, he's playing for the Steelers, I think, right? So they're going to try to use both of them. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But if he did, I mean, on the off chance that he would have found a starting job somewhere else, the Jets or whatever, that would have been crazy because you'd have two, high caliber running backs out of that situation too. But I don't know how they're going to split time or whatever they're going to do whenever he comes back. But Connor's been really great. He's happy with that.
Yeah. Keelan Cole has barely done better than D.D. Westbrook. He's had one game where I would say that he's done.
You just can't trust. Bortles just spreads it around. Like a lot of teams spread it around.
Look at this, 7, 15, 4. Okay, so I was wrong on one of those. 7, 15, 4, 16, 7. I like those numbers. I like him. He just sits on my bench chilling. Anyway, next match.
Right, yep, what's the next matchup? It was Amr versus Aaron. Amr versus Aaron, okay.
You let us down, toilet boy.
Yep, Amr just rolling on through.
This is your chance to be on the big stage.
Amr is 5-0. I don't know if he's ever been 5-0 before.
Just crushing people.
But 5-0 is a fantastic start to the season.
Crushing everyone.
Amr's destroying. Oh, he's got Mahomes and Gurley. That is why with Michael Thomas. Yep, that'll do it. Will do it. It's good.
Todd Gurley is just sickening.
Yeah,
22, 30, 22, 23, 31. What the fuck?
He's the best fantasy
This guy hasn't
running
scored
back.
less than 20 points.
He's the number one. And so he.
Is it because of it's him?
It's because the Rams are the best. The Rams are the best
17,
team
22.
in football.
They're not even necessarily overrunning him that much.
No, the Rams are so good that when they give him opportunities within inside the 20, and he capitalizes because they're so good, and he's so good, and he just eats for 3 touchdowns all the time.
2 games with 3 touchdowns. It's so.
I mean, he doesn't even need 200.
Todd Gurley's ruining fantasy football.
He's just killing it. It's just a killer running back.
He's tilting everything.
And I feel like Lindsey too, as an undrafted dude, for Amr to pick up Lindsey like he did.
Yeah, that was a solid.
That's a great. I mean, Lindsey's a top 24.
We all were looking at it, and he just paid like 17 or fucking.
I mean, it's just
$100.
It's
like
good
he pays for everything. He has $1,000 fucking fab budget. This kid.
He snuck an extra 0 on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Aaron put up 90. It wasn't like the worst day or anything, but Amr had the 100 and took the win. What killed Aaron? Why did he lose this? Oh, could it be you guys are like shameful kicker brothers apparently?
Yeah, me and him are.
Because you both got negative.
Aaron, let's have lunch or something. We gotta talk.
You both got negative points on your kickers.
But I mean, he lost by 10 points. I lost by 2 points.
Yes,
so
true.
My kicker went up to the amount I needed and then went down to negative because he missed a kick.
Mason Crosby had the worst day ever. Worst day of his life.
I'd hang him up. I mean, I'd hang up my boots,
I think
shoes.
He's keeping his job because they've had him for a while, but he definitely had the worst day of his entire career.
That's right. They owe it to him, but he owes it to the sport to hang him up.
And to Aaron's fantasy team for getting him -1.
For sure.
It didn't help.
You don't do that to Aaron.
But Deion Lewis shit the bed. Jared Cook had a down week. So Aaron with the double tight end strategy here, playing Jared Cook and Kyle Rudolph.
It's bold. You got 10 points out of both of them combined.
Didn't really
too bold.
Didn't really do it. It's a gamble. Not that Aguilar or Aaron Jones for Amr did much either, though.
I mean, with Jared Cook getting 27 points the week before, like...
Oh, you have to start. Jared Cook's having an impressive season.
Yeah, you got to start that.
But it's kind of up and down because everybody on the Raiders is up and down. Nah, you're not going to play LeGarrette Blount, are you?
No.
I know he got 14 points.
I'm just looking. No. Literally, there's
just
nothing.
Touchdown. Just a
there's
touchdown.
no mistakes Aaron made on his. See, like I feel like every single week I lose is because I made a mistake. He played his best roster he could, and this week they just didn't do it for him, and they still got 90 points. I'm happy with 90.
I mean,
points.
yeah. Sometimes your team just doesn't put up the points, and not much you can do about that if you made all the right calls. That's just the reality of it. So yeah, Amr took this one.
Yep. Next one. All right, so we got Sarah versus Chris.
Sarah and Chris. Okay.
They had another barn burner.
This one was close.
We got another sad boy.
2
Chris
points.
is sad.
Oh, yeah, Chris is sad.
Join the sad boy club. There's like 7 of us.
Chris has lost 4 now. He's 1-4.
And it wasn't because of kickers in this game. These kickers went in.
Sarah got another win to put her at 3-2. On the back of, she had a big day. Sarah did with Drew Brees, putting up almost 30. She was really happy that Yeldon put up 22. That's a great day for Yeldon.
Drew Brees
with Fournette.
Is having a good year.
Yes, he is. He set that record in this game. He set that all-time passing record.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
it's
crazy.
amazing. So yeah, between those two guys, she had some.
Marshawn Lynch is kind of like.
He just had a down. I think it was the kind of game script.
He's hurt.
Game script related. They lost or whatever. I think he's okay.
Oh, yeah, he's fine.
It was just a Wednesday veteran thing. Tyler Lockett had a nice day for her, Sarah, because Lockett caught a bomb or two. I don't even know what happened there, but Russ chunked one to him, I remember. Chris lost by a couple points because Chris had some. I mean, Antonio Brown and that Antonio Brown connection.
He played Ricky Seals-Jones for 0.
Oh, the goose egg, Chris! That's what did it. The goose egg. Oh, Ricky Seals-Jones with the 0. But look how many tight ends.
He's just doing whatever he can while Evan Ingram.
I know, but out of all the tight end bets you could make on the waiver, how many would at least get 2 points here? Because if he gets the tight end that has 2 points, he wins the game.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Evan Ingram comes back around week 8.
Ricky Seals-Jones with the 0 because that's Ricky Seals-Jones usually gets at least something.
I tried to trade him for Tariq Cohen like months ago.
I did too.
I
tried to. I remember sending something for Cohen to Chris a few weeks back too. He didn't want to do it. I don't even remember. So yeah, Chris lost this one just barely, but he did.
All right, next match we got Alex versus Travis.
Ooh.
And it was a goddamn blowout. Travis got that ass waxed.
Yeah, that's accurate.
There's nothing he could have done on his bench.
This was the biggest gap this week.
This onslaught.
It was definitely an onslaught.
Alex would have beat anybody in the league this week.
That's right.
He had Aaron Rodgers crush it for 28. He had Kareem Hunt doing his thing.
Feed him,
Thielen.
Hopkins.
Man, Thielen's having a fucking year. Jesus.
Yes, he is. That's because Kirk Cousins
is throwing. Is it the why? It's like I feel like it's like
they don't have any run game in Minnesota, and Kirk Cousins is throwing more than anybody else in the league, more than any other team.
There's a lot of wide receivers that are having good years. It's like the year of the wide receiver.
And what's the passing? The NFL's going. The passing league is only going more.
I missed it, and I'm glad it's back.
So on this 130 points almost from Alex, he had the best He had a big day, and Travis had
a good top end. You know?
He had some good plays, but let's see what killed it. Oh, his defense. Ouch. Yeah, -2 on the Broncos D. That didn't help. And otherwise, Doug Baldwin. That's what didn't help, because Travis needed Doug Baldwin to be Doug Baldwin there, and he only got one target for, or like one reception for 1 yard or some shit like that. It was not good. It wasn't good.
He just
one reception for 1 yard.
He hasn't really done much.
He's healthy.
Yet.
He's healthy, but the fact is, Seattle's running the ball this season. They are not throwing like they used to.
That's why I got both of their running backs.
They're running the ball. That's
which
true.
I don't know if it's smart.
But we'll see, because Baldwin might. Who knows? He could explode on this next matchup. And that's the thing, is you just don't know. He could be Doug Baldwin next week, and he finds 2 touchdowns or something, and he gets volume or whatever.
Travis had Mike Evans and Trey Burton
on buys. Yeah, okay, so that's why Travis had he had 2 guys on buys.
I mean, Alex had some buys too.
Alex had 1 guy.
Nothing crazy.
Just Djax on buy, who admittedly has had a good year.
Yeah, Mike Evans has had a great year so far.
That's true. Yeah, that's tough. So that puts Travis at 2-3, just like you, right? Just like Brian. And then Alex is at 3-2. He's having a good. He had won 3.
Alex is having a good year this
3
year.
in a row now. 3 wins in a row for Alex.
He sat across from me at the draft, and he said at almost every other pick, "Should I pick this guy?" And I would say, "I can't fucking tell you. I don't know." Or the only one I actually would probably say I gave him help on was Aaron Rodgers. He was like, "Dude, should I get? I think I should reach for Aaron Rodgers." I was like, "Do you like Aaron Rodgers?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Then yeah, you should go for Aaron Rodgers. He's fun. I've had him a couple years. I had a team called Roger That in this league that is a championship team. And it was led by Aaron Rodgers. I won with him.
Was that 2011?
But it was back whenever quarterbacks like when Aaron Rodgers was like getting 40 points a game and stuff, like almost every single week. Peyton Manning
was throwing 55 touchdowns.
Every quarterback was getting so many points every week. I don't know what has happened. It was like the running backs. It became like the years of the running backs, and that killed the quarterback meta. And then it was like now it's all messed up. It's like it's actually kind of balanced now. I kind of like where it's at.
I don't know. It's crazy because in some ways it never changes, and then but it also in some ways it seems to shift in slight ways too.
It does shift. Like you get years where it's never like one particular year. It'll be like it comes and goes in like threes or so.
Yeah.
Where it's like defense was a big thing, low scoring games all the way across the board all year. Then it was like offense was the thing. Like teams would spend all of their money on beefing up their offenses because every team was beefing up their offense. That's what you had to do to win games, is just out offense the other defense. And then they would be like, well, if we're just going to dump all our money into our offense, let's just say fuck the defense. And then now it's like kind of balanced, really.
Yeah, well, the rule changes probably have impacted things. If they changed the rules, I think that makes a big difference.
This big changes, all these changes with the quarterbacks and stuff now, maybe that will cause a big shift, and maybe the quarterbacks will come back. And now they're going to be all awesome. The protections
they have now that they didn't used to have.
Because you can't touch them.
It definitely impacts things. Well, even even thinking about think about a corner and on a receiver, their matchup or what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do, and when they're allowed to do it in terms of contact with one another. That, and also all the quarterback, all the rule changes over the years. I think that definitely impacts things. But also injuries, I think, impact things. If you have a year where it's just like these 5 to 7 quarterbacks, major quarterbacks that are all down, then it's just going to be kind of a weird, different year, right? If that's a lot of receivers that are impacted by that, stuff like that happens. And last year, you saw a lot of that happen. So maybe that's why some of the running backs were so valuable. But also because of the scarcity and how many running backs get the high volume that you got 5-10 years ago. There's so few of them now that I think that also impacts things too, because there really are not that many that are going to be getting, true 3-down backs that are getting the ball, are going to be touching the ball as many times as those guys used to, with getting all those double-digit crazy amounts of touches. They try to go by those committees now and spread it out and pass it to them.
It didn't ever used to be like that. It was like feature backs, and then there was like two or three teams that would always have committees, and you would stay away from those
Everybody's
teams.
Got that, either the 2 or the 3 now.
You're hoping for 2, and there's like a 1 and 2 running back, which is weird. It's like that's a wide receiver.
Like the Steelers like to have the one guy. Dallas likes to have the one guy.
Yeah,
there are some teams, but on the whole, the league, it's not the true anymore. There's just so many committees.
you're in a committee of any kind and you see a running back fumble, he's just gone.
His day is over.
It's like they take him out back and they just fucking black bag him and just shoot his ass, pour him into the pillar of the fucking stadium. And
some teams are worse about it than others. Some teams, like the punishment thing, the coach's punishment thing is elevated, and they just like you just know that the coaches have like an irrational rage that it's just like they can't control. Then
I watched my running back Zeke fumble 2 or 3 fucking times a week.
Right
he just drops the motherfucker on the ground and he's out the next play with his hands on his hips, just like, what up?
Well, I mean, to be fair though, Dallas's entire game is Zeke. The entire offense is Zeke. So that's not true. Other places are like, okay,
respect yourself, Zeke. Quit dropping the ball. You got like a golden position where you can do no harm.
Zeke's having a great season. I know he had that big fumble or whatever, but he's made some big plays too.
He's had some dumb fucking mistakes where he's like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't step there. Like, you've been playing this game, you should have awareness.
That was almost a really
nice. It's like
nice
in Counter-Strike, you have awareness. If you couldn't touch the walls in Counter-Strike this entire time, you could probably run with your back and stop on a dime,
Dust
right
2?
where the wall was. On Dust 2 or something?
Oh,
yeah.
Guaranteed. You blindfold?
So imagine if you only played Dust 2 your entire life, the same fucking map. You would know it. There's no excuse for stepping out of the fucking bounds ever. He didn't get pushed. I've seen the play. He just put his foot out of bounds like a fucking idiot. Yeah, I know, but still, you watch these fucking wide receivers who can just magically tippy-toe their feet inside. We expect them to do that.
But he hasn't caught nearly that many passes. Like he's good at it, but it's not like he's caught as many passes as Bell and DJ and shit. Like they're trying to get him more involved, but the dude is not exactly a wide receiver, perfect awareness, body control. The dude's a running back, right? Even though he can catch. And I think that's where really the difference is some of those, if DJ wouldn't have stepped out of bounds there, you know what I mean? Like I think that's just because of the difference in pass catching experience, not even really ability, even just experience. So, I don't know.
All right.
He's
next
learning.
Match.
So what happened?
Too long.
We have.
We got Leslie and Miranda. We got cat fight. And it was another close loss. You got join the Sad Boys Club, Miranda, with your boyfriend. He's here with us. We're all sad as fuck.
So Miranda's 1-4 too. We're all depressed.
We're all so sad.
Nice.
And this week was such a close
104. Yeah, Miranda lost 104 to 107. I remember Leslie was happy to get those last couple points across the line. So she's 5-0 right there with Armor.
She scored. I don't know what. I'm pretty sure she scored over 100 every week.
This is
sickens me.
5 weeks in a row she's won. 5 weeks in a row. And that's always a good feeling. She's had some solid plays that are just consistently killing it. Having Mixon back was huge for her because once Mixon's back in the game, he put up 20 points immediately, right? He's a beast. Yeah. Diggs is having
I couldn't beat her when
season.
She didn't have Mixon. That was the only chance I had.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
But look at this. Look at Kamara now that Big Boy's back.
No, that's not just. They didn't need Kamara. That's what happened here. Is they really and. She won this, but it was almost a loss, and Kamara very much could have been the reason for that because the reason he didn't get any play is that he was a little banged up. He was overused in the Giants game last week since Ingram's been out, and they have Ingram back now, so they were like, look, we're up by 20, 30 points, whatever it was. We don't really need Kamara right now, so you just chill, and we'll let, what was that guy's name, Taysom Hill or something, who was actually surprisingly good. Right. He looked good. Him and Ingram just ate. So Kamara, he didn't really do much, but Ertz made up for
Murray
it.
is not having that good of a year.
No, he hasn't been. Last season he was pretty good.
But Dalvin Cook isn't either. So
they
what
just
the hell's
can't.
going
They have
on
no
there?
run game. Like I was saying earlier, Kirk Cousins. The reason that Diggs and Thielen, their line's terrible. Cook's been hurt. Latavius hasn't been great. Like last year, he was better, as it looked like at least. They have no. Kirk Cousins is amazing because he's just making magic happen really for the Vikings. But they have great receivers, but no run game. Ertz has been amazing.
Dang.
Yeah, Ertz has been amazing.
He's
You're
been
happy with
crushing
that.
my fucking Gronk. What round did he get picked up? What is the transactions?
If I had to guess,
drafted
Ertz probably got round 3.
Fourth round.
Drafted
in fourth
round, yeah.
By Leslie. So I drafted Gronk in the 3rd round, so fuck me, right?
I think by the end of the season you're going to see Gronk definitely in the top 2 to 3
I thought
picks,
he would be hungrier for this money. than he is. He's just like, my ankle hurts, my hip hurts.
Yeah. Combination of banged up, combination of matchups, combination of they didn't really need him like last game.
Shit on by Jalen Richard, both emotionally and physically.
I bet Gronk comes alive. I bet he'll have a big game or two coming.
Well, I need him to come alive, damn it, before I get knocked out of playoff
One thing
contention.
to note, though, for Leslie's team, she's been riding this Rams defense all season, and look at the goose egg they put up there. The Rams defense has not been the same with those two major injuries to both their corners.
Yeah.
Not to say that they're terrible or anything, but
they just kind of fell off.
they were really, really elite, and then with those two major injuries, they have not been elite since, so I wonder when they're coming back.
The 49ers have been pretty bad all year. They got 3 points.
Yeah, Miranda started the Niners defense. Did not go well for them.
Probably a bunch of defenses they would have won it for.
I mean, Brady almost...
Isaiah Crowell, man, on the bench.
Oh, Miranda had Crow on the... Wow, Crow had a huge day. 200-something all-purpose yards.
In her flex, she has Brandon Cooks.
Oh, he got concussed. He got knocked the fuck out.
She
Cooks is not her fault on that.
She would have had 133.
Wow, Crow
points.
On the bench. Crow looked amazing, too. He was running so hard. He making huge plays. The dude had over 200 yards or whatever. 219 yards.
He's having a good year other than 2 games. He's got fucking almost.
He looked really good.
Or more.
Yeah, that sucks. Miranda, yeah, that one hurts.
Yeah.
All right, so
welcome
1
to the
4 club.
All right, that's all the matchups.
That's all the matchups.
So
okay,
now we're moving on to the reviews.
Yeah, let's just do a
previews.
Preview.
They rhyme.
Let's check out week 6 and see what's going on in the matchups for this week. We'll just pick some winners and look real quick.
All right, we'll just go through it real quick. Yeah, we got first we got me versus Almer, and this is definitely the week.
Take him down, Cody, please.
This is the week that he loses for sure.
Take him down.
I don't even want to get into it. You're gonna get fucking destroyed. And if you got something to say about it, then come on the podcast.
Ooh, what's that? Look at that projection difference, though.
Yeah. Projected to whoop that motherfucking
15-point difference, Cody. You have the
15
advantage.
Points.
Cody, you got some good matchups with Matt Ryan against the Bucks.
You see, what's gonna happen is it's gonna start off pretty good, and then for some. Who's on my bench? You got Calvin Ridley. He's scoring 30. Lamar Miller. He's scoring 25 this week. D.D. Westbrook on my bench. Yeah, he's good for 15 for sure. Mike Davis is getting 15.
You can't talk like that. You can't talk like that. You're gonna make the right call this week, Cody, because you have to make the right call this week. Yeah, last time Matt Ryan and the Falcons played against the Bucks at home, I think that's when Julio had like 200 yards or something. So I feel like they're gonna destroy that game.
So you're saying I should play Calvin Ridley?
I'm not giving you lineup advice on air here, but I'm just saying that you definitely have a good advantage going into this one. I think Almer might get taken down.
Next match is Keith versus Alex.
Does Keith keep the magic streak rolling, or does he catch a loss here?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I think Keith is gonna. I hope that Keith ends up. Marching all the way to the very end. He deserves it, and his team is good.
Ooh, carry-on's on bye this week for Alex.
Yeah, and Alex hasn't done anything about it. I think Alex is in like 4 leagues, and he doesn't have Facebook, and he lives in a cabin out in the woods. And
yeah, does he listen to this?
No, I don't think he does at all. So.
Oh yeah, there's no way he's not on YouTube or anything, right?
I don't know. He's not on anything.
He's offline.
The first couple, and he was just like. Cool, or he said like cool, or I can't wait, or something like that. I don't know if he actually listened to it.
I wonder if he still has a sleeper app. Maybe we can talk in there.
I don't know. Yeah, we should figure something out.
I like that sleeper app.
I feel like he's just like a robot in our league that is 3-2 right now.
I mean, he's a robot that's won 3 weeks in a row.
He's a good robot.
He has look how many 4 red Qs there. He's got some. It looks like all those guys are actually okay.
He needs to look at his roster is what he needs to do.
He needs to trade me all his receivers.
He hasn't looked at his roster.
He needs to trade me his receivers, all of them. I don't know. Keith, he's got some good players, but Keith still has a. I mean, I feel like Keith could definitely still take the case.
He's got a solid team. I mean,
as long as Connor continues to get what he's been getting.
Jared Goff has been doing outstanding.
He has. Landry's in a good position.
Yeah, Jordan Howard.
He needs Howard to. He needs Howard to come alive. But the Miami defense has been pretty solid.
Jarvis Landry's doing good on the Browns this year.
He needs Kelsey to find the end zone. Oh, he's playing Chester Rogers. I guess it's as of now.
Man, Kelsey's been doing great.
Kelsey's been having he's the best tight end in the league at the moment.
Yeah.
Chester Rogers is a good flex play this week for him. It's a good volume play against the Jets, especially with Hilton being out. I think as of right now, at least, the Colts have been throwing the shit out of the ball, so that's a good flex play. I don't know. This one could go either way. Okay.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Booty Scooters. We got Leslie versus Sarah.
Bum, 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 bum.
Sarah, we need you. We need you to beat Leslie. I think it's going to take the touch of a woman.
Did you see the video of Sarah unboxing that toilet? Did you see it?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That is beautiful. Thank you for doing that, Miranda.
Yeah, thanks for putting effort into the league.
That was really fun to watch.
8 of us. So
I got to watch your face open it in the bar, and it was. I mean, that's pretty great right there.
Whenever people put things that are multiple hours or so of effort into something that only like 6 or 7 people are gonna see, that's like something only that our fantasy league. I'm sure other fantasy leagues, but it's like something about this little community is like.
It makes it more fun.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you can.
It's all love. It's all love.
But yeah, we let's see the matchup.
5-point projection difference. So Leslie has the slight advantage here.
Yeah, Cam Newton doing his thing. Mm-hmm. He was on bye. He crushed it. No, he actually didn't do that great coming off his bye.
He's been doing pretty good this season. I mean,
yeah, this whole season he's done alright. I mean, I would.
That's a solid floor.
Kick him out of bed.
That's a good floor.
You know, but got Mr. Mediocre.
Alex Smith, though, I don't know about Alex Smith. So he's so far he hasn't really impressed
this
year.
He's good for 12 points like every game. See if Marshawn can bounce back.
So yeah, Sarah's hoping that Marshawn bounces back and that Yeldon has another good game. She needs Tyreek.
She's finally sitting Dalvin Cook.
Oh man, you know she's depressed about Dalvin Cook.
I feel like she's played him even though he's been getting like.
I mean, why wouldn't she? I would do the same. If you drafted Dalvin Cook, I mean, you kind of have to play him if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, then yeah, whatever.
If any player gets 0 points in the next game, they get 2 points. I'm not playing them. I don't know if she played her.
I mean, yeah,
last week,
that's fair. I mean, that's fair.
And then they get 0 points again, and it's like okay. Bad.
Until you see a big game, yeah, you're relegated.
You want to probably try to trade him off of his name value, not at this point. It's probably too late, but before you shut the bed.
So Leslie has Kamara on bye this week and Kenny Galladay on bye this week.
Oh,
so
okay, she's gonna lose.
Those are 2 big hits. Now, don't get me wrong, Sarah has T.Y. Hilton on injured, so that's also a big hit. And Drew Brees is on bye, which that's also a big hit. That's why she's playing Alex Smith.
They're projected pretty close.
It's going to be a close one because they both have a couple big players.
We need you, Sarah. Do your thing.
Yeah, that'll be a close one. That'll be a good matchup.
All right, moving on. We got Miranda and Chris. Ooh.
Oh, Miranda and Chris are playing each other, and they're both 1-4.
Yeah.
Nobody wins.
This is gonna they both set all of their rosters to like here.
Whoa! So look at this. Look at Miranda's kicker situation.
I would love to be like a fly on the wall at their house while they're just,
hey, you guys should come
fighting about.
You guys should come over on Sunday because that would be a fun one to experience live.
Yeah, for sure. And you can tell he's toiling over his decisions because he's got no tight end right now, so he's just sitting there just like stone thinking about what.
Yeah, Chris has no tight end in his lineup right now, and Miranda currently has Greg the Leg in her lineup, who's not going to be playing football this week, I think. So,
right.
we have interesting choices here so far, but it's early. It's Thursday, I guess. So I mean,
or have they both just given up because they're 1-4?
Miranda has
Don't give up. If you have a shitty score, it is still your responsibility.
You can't give up,
and you owe it to the league and yourselves.
You can get your money back.
Continue to fight the fight,
or you can get like 80% of your money back, which is still like worth doing.
As Travis told me whenever I was in a moment of doubt, he said you can't make it easier on other people, because if you give up, you just ruin the league entirely. Especially if like 3 or 4 of us give up.
It kills
the people that are winning are just
because that affects waiver pickups, which affects the other teams that are still in it, right? If the waiver pick it gets really weird if nobody is continuously active and making moves and stuff.
If you're not having a great year, that might just mean you're not going to have a good year. But the cool thing is, we do this every year. So just study in the off season, come back next year, try again.
Yeah,
like Ritchy here, he won last season and now he's winless. I've done the exact same thing. I got the toilet the year after
that's
I won.
I forgot about that.
So it's something that happens, and it's not because I gave up or quit trying.
No,
it was just like
shit happened.
That's just how fucking much the luck is involved in this game.
That's true.
Some years it's not gonna be your year. Some years it is your year, and I think it's Almer's year and it's Leslie's year. But
oh yeah, they're killing it.
It can't sustain because there can only be one.
Yeah, so projection doesn't mean shit on this because Chris doesn't even have a tight end at the moment.
The
but
are
just looking at the matchups here, I think if Odell Beckham if they're having like a crazy rainy storm game tonight, that might impact her there. Also, if Brandon Cooks is healthy enough to play, because his brain got smashed up against his skull in that last matchup. I watched it happen and it was not good.
I didn't see it.
It was rough, but I mean McCaffrey's been absolutely killer this season for Chris. So we'll see. Same with Antonio Brown. It was violent.
He didn't get any points.
No, dude, he got obliterated. It was a nice catch or something. No.
All right, so we don't even want to predict a winner on this one because don't want to get involved in that.
No, come on! I don't even know if we've actually been making actual predictions.
I can't predict it. I can't. Yeah, we have. I can't really predict this one because their lineups aren't really.
I'm gonna say if he's starting Godwin and Smallwood, even though he's got AB and McCaffrey, I just think that assuming that Miranda plays a different kicker, I think she wins the league.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Chris wins the league because Miranda's on a 4-loss streak.
What tight end is Chris gonna play? Does he have one at all? It's on bye or something, right? Or
yeah, he's got Evan Ingram.
Oh, Evan Ingram's hurt still.
Yeah.
Chris, you gotta get a tight end, dog. What are you doing with your life? It's Thursday. You don't have a tight end yet.
Yeah, you need to get on that.
You gotta find one.
And this isn't the old school.
Who is he gonna be playing? There are no tight ends out there.
Yeah, let's take a look.
You're gonna be playing some 0-point Ricky Seals-Jones shit, dog.
Let's beat Chris right now.
Yeah. So if I'm Chris, I'm looking at the waiver. I'm looking at tight ends. Okay.
So
I'm sorting. Okay.
Rank
by PRK. His best option is.
I'm gonna look at Austin Hooper.
Okay, that's a good. Yeah, that's a good option. That's a good option.
He's got a good ceiling. He's got a bad floor though. And
that's true for most of these bastards.
But then he's also playing the 32nd worst team in the league against tight ends. In the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So those two together tell me, plus it's at home.
It's a good matchup.
You should pick up Austin Hooper and play him.
That's what I would do too.
So there you go.
You have a couple options out there if you want to
you got Ben Watson.
No, he's on bye. He's on
bye. I don't know. You got Jesse James. Is this the guy who stiff arms people? No, this is the other guy.
Vance McDonald.
Yeah, that's Vance McDonald.
I don't know. There are a lot of dart throws, is what I see.
Jesse James is
just a lot of dart throws.
His floor is like 2 points.
Hey, that
his
Dallas
ceiling is 22 points.
Jeff Schwaim or whatever, that Dallas tight end's been doing. He's been doing all right the last week or two.
This guy's the weirdest name I've ever seen. And his ears. Look at this.
Yeah, he does have some.
I don't know.
Interesting ears. But I'm just saying he's had a couple good weeks in a row now. For if you need a flyer, look at that. 7 points as 7 to 11 points for the last 3 weeks. That's a solid flyer. It's a risk, right? But you got that CJ guy, the Bengals. I mean, there are some dart throws for sure.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right, moving on. We got Aaron versus Brian.
Aaron and Brian. Okay, they're both 2-3.
2-3. Let's see who's gonna
take it to the next level.
Who's gonna take the step?
Okay, we got Brian's playing Winston this week. He's got Stafford's on bye. Yeah, Ebron. I think he's gonna play, but he is banged up. He probably finds the end zone again, though.
Because he scored 27 points last week. He just ran so goddamn much.
If you look at his injury thing, he's like really. It's like his toe, his foot, his leg, his like pelvis. It's like all sorts of stuff. He'll probably find the end zone.
Aaron's playing Mason Crosby instead of retiring him to the waivers.
That's faith. That's dedication and faith. Aaron's like the Packers. They're like, you know what, Crosby? I know you got me negative points last week, but I just, I
know you have salt and pepper hair like goddamn Sean
I have trust.
Connery.
You've been with us for a long time.
You're still playing the league.
You have the good benefits package. Your retirement funds are looking solid. Your investments are doing well. And we're just gonna stick with you, especially with a good matchup at home against.
You look like
the
you're
Niners.
Gonna escape from some prison with Nick Cage or something. You're old looking is what I'm saying. This guy is old. And I know Adam Vinatieri's old.
Him too, yeah.
But that's the best goddamn kicker in the world right there. So.
No, that would be Justin Tucker.
No. Adam Vinatieri is... Justin Tucker wakes up and he pisses out liquid Justin Tucker's every morning, just into the toilet to get his day started.
Okay, he pisses it out to maybe like 30, 40 yards, but Justin Tucker pisses it out 50, 60 yards.
He's still got the leg.
I'll take Tucker all day.
The accuracy. You want accuracy. You want a kicker who can kick into the wind and it come back and make it. That's Adam Vinatieri.
You also want the team with the perfect amount of balance between a high enough power offense to get down there, but also slightly shitty enough to get stopped right there. Yeah. Because if they're too good, they'll just score a touchdown.
Would be, but they never are. I always think that they're going to be that one.
So hold on. Let's see. Brian got the slight projection advantage here. You think Brian takes this, or do you think Aaron gets it?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Brian continues to climb out of the.
I think Julio Jones has a 150 yards and a touchdown this week.
Yeah, this is gonna be a big.
And I think Kirk Cousins has a 25-point game as well. I think if Aaron is gonna win this game, he'll need Kenyon Drake and Deion Lewis to do something, and I think both those guys might have shitty weeks. So I think Aaron's running backs might hurt him.
I definitely like his lineup. Like, I wouldn't change.
I think I sent him some running back. His running back situation is scary. It's scary to me. Although he has.
Yeah, I mean, I for what he has, like, I would say, for this week, that's about as good as it's gonna get. Like,
I don't know. It could go either way because I could see it. I could see it falling either way.
I wouldn't play Devin Funchess over.
Brian has some good matchups here.
You know, Devontae Adams is killing it, and he's got Deion Lewis, who's got a decent.
Oh, is he playing the two tight ends again? Dog, you want to trade me? Dude, trade me so you don't have to play two tight ends every week. Is that what? Trade me.
No, he believes.
I know. I mean, I've done that before too. I'm not saying it's always bad, but if that's the default every week, you probably.
I mean, he's got Devin Funchess sitting on the bench. But
he does. That's true.
He could play. He could if he just.
Greg Olson's coming back this week though.
If he puts Devontae Adams down in Jared Cook's spot, and Deion Lewis, wait.
He'll make his own call, Cody.
No, he was complaining about us not giving him lineup advice.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
All I'm saying,
you guys didn't say anything about the lineup.
I'll tell you what your lineup is.
I would drop everyone on your lineup and I would hang them up. Hang them up, bro. Just kidding.
He picked up that Vikings defense on the waiver wire. I saw that.
I was actually thinking about doing that.
Well, I mean, it's tough because you know that
they're coming off that -9.
-9
against the Rams.
I know, but still, it's supposed to be an elite defense, and -9 is that's
I would drop almost any defense that got me -9 because it's like a slap in the face to me personally. Everyone on that defense, it's a slide against me.
Your wide receiver personally. 2 or 3 put up 10 points, and that just got negated by your defense.
Yeah, exactly. Like your flex is gotta really hustle to even be existent on your team. All right, last matchup we got Travis and Ricky.
Travis, I wish Travis was here.
That's why you left.
Yeah, you ran away. You scared. You scared. Look at my picture. You see Delaney and Saquon.
You didn't want. You
don't want that world domination.
Yeah, you didn't want to see what do we do every.
In the brain.
Yeah. Who are these people?
That's Delaney Walker and that's Saquon Barkley.
So it's like Delaney and Saquon.
Delaney and Saquon.
One is something really fast and the other's really strong.
Solid. I'll take it. And we're just gonna roll right over Travis. Travis is sitting there at 2 and 3 like he's got it in the bag.
Yeah. No, actually, he's probably pretty confident in his team. He's
got a good team.
He started slow, and he knew it was going to start slow.
He's got a good team.
And it's starting to ramp up.
Well, this is the time for Travis to explode.
Pretty like some of his teams.
Look,
pretty ridiculous.
Travis finally has Julian Edelman back.
Yeah.
Okay, he's been waiting for that.
And that's the thing is he was having those weeks in the beginning, knowing that once
yeah.
He had a wider with this little smirk on his face.
He had like a little wide receiver time bomb there. He also had Mark Ingram back now. So he's on bye this week. I just mean in general. But he came back strong. So he got that little Mark Ingram running back time bomb. And then he also had, not that he's done shit yet, but Doug Baldwin was out at the beginning of the season too. So he had another little wide receiver secret there. So not that Doug Baldwin's done anything yet, but I bet he comes online at some point.
He still has the reddest team ever. It's like just
his bench?
So many hurt. Yeah, everyone's. So
oh yeah, he's got Darius Geis on his IR spot. He's got Sproles, who's out. He's got a lot of Qs too. I mean, Peterson's a little banged up. Jarman Allison's a little banged up. He picked up that Sanu, the slutty.
Only thing
Sanu.
We're talking about in the waivers this week was he picked up that.
He paid like $12 for him or
wet
something.
Doorknob.
Look, Sanu's had 2 or 3 really strong weeks in a row. And he's never he's not a terrible flex play as long as the Falcons have a good matchup and they're throwing a lot, right? He's had a few good weeks in a row, but yeah, he's definitely slutty.
Yeah, he gets passed around like a loose joint almost every year.
I like that Cowboys defense, Travis, playing that Cowboys defense.
Yeah, he
against Bortles.
Why don't you you can have him.
Yeah.
They're rank 18. That's bold, Cotton.
I feel like they've been better than that, but maybe not.
I do too, but it looks like they haven't. That's why the defensive scoring is stupid.
It really is bad.
And it counts yards, which is retarded.
Because
a team can literally put 90 yards against a defense and then not score.
And it still hurts a lot.
And then it just destroys the defense if they do that every possession. And then you get teams that are like, say they get up on them early. Like they get 2 touchdowns or 1 touchdown even. The defense starts playing further back because they want to keep everything out in front of them. They don't want to let any big plays go. And they let inches and inches and inches happen, but you're playing the mind game of the sport of football and you're trying to just, if you won 7-0, that's fine. You're just going to you start running the clock out as soon as you get up on the other team.
It's an imperfect system.
It's stupid. And it's not even like it's like, oh, it's flawed, but it's what we have. Just get rid of yards and only count if they score, intercept, recover fumbles. Those are the only things you should score, and maybe they should give the yards to the something else, like maybe give it half the yards, so half point per yard to the kickoff returns on special teams. That's like 20, 30 yards every time the ball turns over.
I think we do have, if it's an offensive player that's doing a kickoff return, punt return or something, I think we do.
I don't think it counts. I think that only if they were to score is what he counts. But maybe that's
I don't know, have to check.
Our shit changes all the time. But
well, I mean, we did remember having a conversation about that. I don't remember. But my take on defenses is ultimately that, like, it's an imperfect system. I would propose a change, definitely next offseason, if possible, to restructure the defensive scoring, because I just believe that a defensive scoring shouldn't be so drastically different from every other position. I would rather have a defensive scoring that starts like every other position at 0 and goes up based on sacks and picks and stuff like that, rather than have it starting at 10 and going down, because why not just make it like every other position? And right. I was talking to this guy, I remember reading this post about just how they structure their defensive scoring in their league, and they definitely just have like a regular player starting at 0 and going up. And I think it would be better that way. It's something to talk about and vote on definitely next off season.
Yeah, same with this thing you were pitching before the podcast about not going past 0.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that, the negative points thing for defenses. I remember one person disagreed with me. I don't remember who it was, but somebody else had also agreed. We were talking about.
Come on the podcast.
I don't remember. Yeah, I think it would be just a good vote to have. Remember, I had a few different votes out this season, and I'd like to do the same next season for whatever ideas we have. And one of them I think would be to remove negative points for defensive scoring and have them still go to 0 and do nothing for you, but not go to -10 or whatever and really hurt you. Just because it sucks. It's just nobody's happy about that when it happens, and it doesn't happen nearly as much for kickers to get negative, although it does happen here and there. Just a conversation for a later day. So, Cody, who do you have in this matchup here?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I think Trevor's going to give you your 6th loss.
What's the projection? What's the projection say, Cody?
It says you're going to win.
Yes, it does. 110 to 102.
5, 6, 7, 8 points, 7 points. But
easy, peasy.
Travis's team's just coming alive, and your team is,
What do you think about? I mean, you're not happy with Cooper Kupp so far this season. You're not happy with Saquon Barkley this season. You're not happy with the last few weeks of Sony Michel. You're not happy with George Kittle this season. Because I'm not that happy with Keenan Allen. That's been a major disappointment for me.
I don't know. I'm just not happy with your team.
Yeah, nor am I, buddy. I understand. I'm right there with you.
It's one of there's only one. Some people have only one team that they could even really talk shit about, and it's your team. So how does that feel that all 11 people in the team can sleep good at night knowing they're not your team?
I mean, I'll just go to sleep using my championships as pillows.
2 of them.
And focus on next season in my other leagues.
All right, yeah, sounds good. All right, so moving to the real quick, just go over the top couple on the waiver.
Oh yeah, it wasn't too much on the waiver report.
Muhammad Sanu, the slut,
yeah,
for $12.
Yeah, that's for Travis. We got that pickup.
Talked about that. Alfred Blue went for $10.
$10,
which is like, if you were gonna pick him up, you should have picked him up like 2 weeks ago. That's when I was looking at him, and I was for $0, and I was like, you know what? Nah, because that dude's fat. All right, moving on. We got
nobody wants Alfred Blue, but he had a good day.
Aaron picked up Vikings for $8.
$8 for the defense.
Cowboys
for
$6.
He wanted it.
Wow,
Travis, he wanted it. He really wanted it
against Jacksonville.
$6.
He's just hoping it's not a very high scoring game in general. It's all defense, I guess.
I mean, it's likely to be true because I can totally see that.
Yeah, is that at home?
It's at home for the Cowboys against Bortles, and
good.
it's just Jags D.
Travis is a meta.
I mean, the over/under, I would check, but it's probably low scoring.
Yeah, and then we got a bunch for 5.
Godwin for 5.
Who all went on for Matt Muhammad? We had
Chris tried. Keith tried.
That's it. But you guys, you can't put your money where your mouth is because Travis said $12. Travis is like, every time I'm like, hey, you gonna put in for Philip Lindsay? He's like, yeah, I'll put in six bucks. And then it's like, oh, you're gonna put in, who is the big one for $60?
So, this season?
Yeah, for Armour. Armour got him for like $60. Oh, it was Josh Gordon. I was I was talking about how I wanted to get Josh Gordon. I was telling Travis, and he was like, yeah. I mean, I put in a bid for him. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't want him because I was asking him if he liked him, and he was like, no, I don't like Josh Gordon. And I was like, you're not gonna put.
He doesn't like Josh Gordon.
He was like, yeah, I put in a bid in it. I put in a bid. It was like $12. Like seriously, you put $12 if you think you're gonna get Josh Gordon. This fool put 60, and I was talking about putting 52.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then on this guy, on Mohamed Sanu, you could have had him. He's gotten over 10 points for three weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you're gonna put $12 down on him. What kind of? Who do you think you are?
Travis, he's talking some shit, Travis. Oh, I think the best pickup here I think the 2 best pickups here are Brian's Jameis Winston for $3. I think
that's pretty solid.
That's a great pickup
sure.
because of this matchup's gonna be great for him.
Because I think Ryan Fitz is done what he's came to do, and what he comes to do every year. As he comes in, he's just like makes some jokes. He gets hot, and I think he only plays good football every couple seasons so that he can crack some really well delivered jokes, get meme famous, and then he goes back off into the shadows, joins another team who needs a quarterback, and he starts over. He's not in this league for the money. He is in this league for the memes.
He's a journeyman.
It's Fitz magic.
I also like Cortland Sutton for whatever price that is. I can't see. $3, I think maybe, or $3. I think it's a good pickup for Sutton because Sutton's been getting a lot of red zone targets. I think Travis, it's a good pickup for him.
Yeah.
And Chester Rogers for $2. Yeah, Keith got Chester Rogers for $2, and I also think that's a fantastic pickup.
Keith came in this week and was like, I'm gonna spend some cash,
$2.
boys. And he spends like $15.
Oh no, he tried to spend $5 for Sanu.
He's the most frugal. How much money? He's $63 left.
Travis does. That was Travis. Yeah.
He's gonna end up dropping it on. He's probably gonna end up just keeping it all. Like he could save it for next year or something, which would be kind of cool if you could like save
roll
your
the fab over.
Yeah.
Oh,
Someone saves up like 1,000 fab, and they just like.
Well, some people don't spend all their fab, so they would eventually have just like a mass amount of. Yeah, that would be interesting. I was thinking at one point we had a conversation. I was thinking of fun ideas, and I thought, what if in trades you could offer a percentage of your fab budget? You could give $10, you could give $5, you could give $18 within a trade offer of your fab. And I think
that would be cool.
Wouldn't that be interesting? That would be pretty fun because if you are a playoff team but you're broke,
teams in the NFL they trade players, money, and their draft picks and shit.
Like, I mean, trading draft picks is also like a popular thing, but that gets more into like the dynasty style. But fab resets every season, just like our players will. Right. So I don't know. I don't even know if it's possible, but that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd be down for that. That would, especially in like our league where you have people making PSAs about how they don't want your trades because our league. What's happening is we're all becoming fantasy football veterans, and like everyone, all 12 people in our league, even Aaron, and our leagues are very like every team is good. Even,
everybody's played for like 5 years now.
That's why people who like you can have Ricky who won last season and then be 0-5. That's not because of lack of effort on his end.
No,
that's because we're beating him.
Yeah, it's true. It's more competitive.
It is. It's super awesome how competitive we are. There's no team where I'm like, oh, well, that's an easy win. And, I mean, I'll be honest. Some years in the past, I was like, well, there's an easy win there. I'm not even going to look at. I'm not, yeah.
Michael Vanetta.
John Stevenson. Like, a lot of them aren't with our league anymore. But they were people that were just
Evan Neal.
Easy. There's an easy win. There's an easy win. I just have to worry about these 4 or 5. So it's really easy to get in the playoffs whenever you have to worry about like 6 matchups in the whole. You just got to win like a couple matchups.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's definitely gotten more competitive, which is good. That's what we want.
It's awesome. But what that does is make trading almost obsolete because we did so good as a whole league drafting that, like, other than having waiver auction and us buying people that pop up, there's really no need for trading.
Well, that's also, I think, and this is my opinion, but just because I play in a lot of leagues now, and so I have something to compare it to in terms of the one major factor I think that influences some of that too is bench size and or starting spots. And what I mean by that is, since we have a massive bench, we have 7-player bench and an IR spot, which can be used at times as like an 8th bench spot. That's a really big bench. Some teams have 4, 5, 6 bench spots. Having 7 allows you to hoard an extra quarterback, an extra tight end, and it doesn't really punish you that much. Also, since the fact that we don't have another flex spot, we don't have a true flex spot. We have a separate system, which is a fantastic system. However, if you had either a 3rd receiver slot or a 1 extra true flex spot, it adds one of those guys from your bench that you have to start each week, and it allows for the more pools of the players are being started any given week, right? So those guys that are sitting on your bench are instead going to be played by one more each week, and that can actually really help trading, how healthy of a trading lifespan is in a league, because you need to trade more because you're starting more players and you can't hoard as much, so it's not as much on the drafting and hoarding.
I think the fab thing might encourage trading, because people like Almer, who have spent almost all their fab, but their teams are almost perfect, they might be encouraged to get a little fab money. That might be the only reason they would want to trade. They might trade a player for just straight fab money so that if an injury happens, or if that injury's already happened and he's like freaking out, like, hey, well, I got this player and some fab. You can get you a spot start right now, and you can have some fab to go shopping. Yeah, I think that actually makes sense.
I don't know. I'm not as concerned about the fab part as I am we need to have another flex spot. And we need to start another flex spot. Like, that's going to be, out of all the things I want to suggest and vote on next season, my number one thing by far, besides bench spots and whatever, is I want to add
tight end, running back.
You can make it whatever you want.
We should have.
It could be a true flex.
I think we should try one season where we have a super flex.
A super flex? I was thinking just a regular true flex, because we don't have one of those. You can play a running back or receiver.
I mean, it would just make, like, if you...
I would be down for super flex because it is fun. I'm playing in a super flex league, another super flex league right now.
Makes quarterbacks fun. Like value.
I'm not against that. Right? I'm not against that. That's another one we could vote on. But I just mean, out of all the receivers we have,
I just want to try it for one season.
All the receivers on our benches.
I'd almost be willing going into it to being like, even if we like this, we're only doing this season, and we're going back.
You can do that, yeah.
Because like it changes everything. It would change how we would draft. It would change how we think about the fantasy. And I think that the way our league is set up is very skill based, and it's about as good as it gets as far as pro. Like looking at it from a pro perspective.
Yeah.
That's something you want to actually care about, because we have all those little holes and stuff. For the most part, we have filled with the stat changes and correction. We go into half-point PPR, make these little changes, add in the auction, these layers to it, and it's like you can't just. It's hard to just walk into our league and not knowing anything about. That's why people don't just start in our league never having played. People start. You know, Leslie played several seasons in other leagues before she ever even came and tried our league. And it's not like we're special or anything, but it's not very noob friendly.
No, we've just gotten more competitive over time. But I mean, I think that the way to raise the skill ceiling of a league is, one, to start more players, because that's more decisions you have to make. That's one more guy from your bench you have to start, and more decisions. If you add a flex spot, if you reduce the number of people you can keep on a bench, which I'm not advocating for, I like our big benches, but I'm saying by reducing them, it puts more players back in the pool, makes more drop decisions, more start decisions. That increases the number of decisions that the league has to make overall. Raises
the thing
ceiling.
Is, people don't want to drop players they know that they don't want to drop.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to. reduce the bench size.
Don't touch our benches.
I'm saying there are two ways to raise the skill ceiling. One is to make the benches smaller. The other is to start more players. So by adding another receiver, adding another flex spot or something, it's more decisions that makes the better player wins.
5 or 6 bench slots, and there were people dropping starters every week.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
When buys start hitting, you just.
But it does make the waiver wire more healthy because, right? I mean, if your waiver wire is so completely dead. But it makes it where
people gaff you. People are just jacking fucking players from each other every week. It is fun, but it's like when you get someone jacked from you,
it means you have to make the better call. You're punished for making. You can't hoard 4 guys. You know what I mean? You have to make the best call, right? Yeah. Okay, so we've been rambling on.
Yeah,
but
this is way too long.
I'm sorry this has been so long, but we just kind of got excited.
So that was a podcast.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Good luck everyone in your matchups this week.
Yeah, have a healthy week 6. We're approaching the half.
Yeah, we're halfway there. We're at that point that where if you've been winning all your matches
5-0,
then you're probably going to make the playoffs. We're getting to that point that where if you've lost all your matches, you're probably not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's over for me.
That doesn't mean not try, but let's not fucking lie to these people.
Oh no, I'm going for 5th. I'm going for 5th. That's my
just because we want them to keep trying.
First.
Like
5th is the new first.
It's really hard to come back when you've been losing. I understand that, but still keep your head up. I feel like my team can't get a win, even though I'm 2-3. I still feel that way because they've lost 3 in a row. It makes me want to kill my entire team.
Oh well, you don't need to do that.
I just want to drop them all and quit fantasy football.
Aaron went 5-0 last season, or 5-1. I don't remember which it was, and he didn't make playoffs.
He was so proud of himself.
I will say
he's so proud of himself.
It's not possible for me. It's not possible for me to make playoffs at this point, but it is possible for playoff teams to miss playoffs. That's the thing. Sorry. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Until next time, form the token ring. This has been a Token Ring production. All music brought to you by Ritchy. You can find his beats at SoundCloud